Welcome to Unveiled, the HPD podcast where we dive into the world of policing. I'm your host, Captain Michelle Rhone. Today, we are joined by MPO Karla Rhone and Officer Tony Aburto. Thank you for joining us for Season 3 of the HPD Wonder Women. They told me last time that I only mentioned it a couple times and it was sort of catchy, so I'm going to bring it back for Season 3. Today, I'm really excited to be joined by two amazing women from HPD. One that I've known for,
my whole career.
like 18 plus years. And another one I've known her whole career too, but she's been here a little less time. And I'm really excited because they bring sort of similar, but also really different perspectives to our podcast and women in policing. So, MPO Rhone, and yes, RHONE and RHONE, yes. And we get emails, maybe phone calls, but never each other's money.
Correct.
And thank goodness for finance. So that's great. But we affectionately call each other cousin at work because, I mean, we're all family anyway, so we might as well. So Karla started how many years ago?
20.
So that's how long I've known you.
Yes, October of 2005.
Well, happy workiversary.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank
20 years.
Yes.
You hit your Leo this year.
Thank God.
For anyone interested in joining the police department, that's our extra retirement money that we get for hazard pay. So that's actually a really comfortable place to be.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
thankful.
Very good.
Yes.
And where are you working now?
I am currently assigned to Major Crimes Unit, which is investigations.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much work white-collar crimes, so your frauds.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you good at math?
I enjoy math.
What?
I do.
Get out of here with
no
that.
lie.
At least
no
someone
lie.
does, because I don't.
It's the numbers.
Okay.
You know, and then now investigating numbers, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that are like stealing houses these days. It's wild.
Yes.
And
houses, cars, and just a lot of money, period.
And behind the scenes, like, you know, we think of major crimes like people getting things taken from their person, like a robbery, but this is all just draining bank accounts.
Yes.
And you go in one day to swipe for groceries and there's nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
I
talking
can't
about
imagine.
retirement, you know, checking accounts, saving accounts, white.
Wow. And how do you think they get the access to those numbers?
In some instances, and I think, you know, it's been on the news here lately, you know, these parking lot scams where, you know, 1, 2, 3 people walk up to somebody and saying, hey, I need assistance, you know, with getting gas money or something like that. And then they hand them their phone. And then, you know, next thing you know, that person has done a Cash App transfer.
Wow.
Of like a couple thousand maybe. You know, have done those transfers to their accounts. And then from there, they move the money out of those accounts.
Yeah, because once you do it once, you can have access to it forever, right? Like, I guess they would know.
In those situations, they're kind of quick, you know. And in some instances, they're open accounts or open a new card, go out, do their business, so to say, and then once the money is transferred, they'll close the accounts.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
So by the time people even realize that their money's gone,
sometimes it's
that fast.
Sometimes it's instant, you know. So Cash App, you know, they'll send an alert that says, hey, this much money is transferred. Or I've heard of Navy doing the same thing. But on the flip, or on a different aspect, when it comes to checks, some people don't balance their checks until the end of the month. Yeah. And that's when they'll catch it.
Wow. So that's fascinating.
Yes.
Doing something that you love.
Yes.
Putting all the puzzle pieces together.
Yes, puzzle pieces.
That's really cool. And before that, you were at the schools. And Tony, you're at the schools now. And I envy both of you for that. I'm not the best with other people's children sometimes.
Yes.
But you loved it, and you were at Bethel High School, and the kids absolutely adored you.
Yes.
You played collegiate basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
I did.
And would sort of connect with the kids in that way, and
that's how I ended up coaching. So I did play at Christopher Newport all 4 years from 97 to 2001, and before I even got to Christopher Newport, I was coaching Bethel High School during the summertime. And And when I fast forward, when I started working at Bethel, I gave the coach and the girls such a hard time, working at the games. And one day the coach he walked up to me, he said, "Do you want to coach?" And I said, "I don't know if I want that responsibility," but I ended up taking it on too.
He said you either close your mouth.
Yes.
Or you come help me out.
Or come help, yes.
And
so
you
I
signed
said,
up.
I'll come help.
That's really cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And Tony, you started as a cadet. So
I
shout out to the
did.
cadet program. And what were you on Chesapeake as a cadet or
I
with?
was on with. I've been on with my entire career. Besides now that I'm in the schools, I'm on Chesapeake. So.
Very cool. And I was your lieutenant on night shift. Remember that? We had a great time. It was lots of fun. I was at the academy when you were there. But you've had a really cool career. I mean,
Yeah, I
from
would
cadet
say.
to night shift, and now you're in the schools. So
Yeah.
you've really made things happen.
Yeah,
What-
it's been a process with everything, but it's definitely been something I've been very positive about, and especially now being a mom, being in the schools, like that's where my priorities are.
Yeah. Was being a mom sort of what inspired you to want to be in the schools?
My school resource officer from back home, I'm from Walkersville, Maryland. Her name was Teresa Holland. She was with the Frederick County Sheriff's Department, and she played a huge part of me getting through high school, supporting me and helping me. And so she was definitely that inspiration I had once I came into the police department as a police officer, and then realizing that that's what I wanted to do and give back to my community in that way.
That's amazing. We hear so many negative news stories about the way that the public and youth especially feel about police, but it's my understanding that the SROs really create that feeling of safety, and like police are people that they can trust, they can turn to, and we really rely on you to do that. And it's great that you have that memory of having that person in your life that was a positive role model for you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. And you've been there for a year?
Coming up a year, I switched over to the schools in February of this year. And so now last year was kind of getting to know my kids and my administration and figuring out all the schools that I'm responsible for. And now it's just growing and continuing that rapport and building those relationships with the kids and staff.
Very cool. And middle school is a challenging time. I remember middle school for myself. It's a hard time.
It is.
What do you see the most? What's your biggest challenge there?
The kids not understanding their emotions fully yet, and they'll act out instead of being able, like us, like we can, de-escalate and talk it out with other people that we have problems with. But with them, correct me if I'm wrong, but they just act out instead, and that's where we kind of step in to mentor them and guide them, with how to express their feelings correctly.
It's almost about teaching communication.
I agree
And you
with
have
that.
to think, like, when you and I came through school, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have social media. So now everything is
Via
short
internet.
text and and just not knowing how to sit
Take it.
down and have a full-blown conversation.
Right. So things get taken out of context.
Yes.
And then it sort of snowballs
Correct.
into this big deal. Did you see that a lot when you were at Bethel too?
I did.
Yeah.
Most of your issues and your beef started on social media. Something said and then shared, and now the whole school knows about it, and then the whole city knows about it, and then you have people that'll entice what's going on, and then from there it'll just blow up.
The antagonizers come along. It's hard even now as an adult sometimes when you go through something challenging to remember that the whole world doesn't know. We live in Hampton. Even if we were in New York City, which is huge, you're just one in millions and millions.
Right.
But as a kid, I remember feeling like the whole world knows everything that's going on with you.
Right.
So having it all put out there on the internet and on social media that way must feel that much more overwhelming for our youth. And that's
Yes.
something that I have to remind myself of because we didn't grow up
Right.
with social media.
No, we did not.
That
We didn't have phones. We didn't
Right.
have anything.
wild.
And the kids nowadays, their whole world is social media and school, and then whatever sporting events they're in or extracurricular activities. So it's like they're obviously consistently around all their friends and family and whatnot. So I would say that has a huge impact on kids nowadays.
Do you see any of them that are really drawn into law enforcement as a profession? Do they talk to you about their goals and what they see for themselves in the future?
we have those conversations or had those conversations.
Yeah.
Most of them were, excited about going to school or going to the military. Didn't hear much about going into law enforcement. Even with, at Bethel, we had the Law and Public Safety Academy.
That's right.
Public Safety Academy.
Yeah.
So even out of that, you may have seen, people who want to be attorneys, but not so much of law enforcement itself.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how many did return to law enforcement that was somewhere because of the impact that you had, just like the SRO that you had in school, Tony. Does she know? Have you reached back out to say, hey, look?
She actually posts on Jones's page a lot when they post
cool.
pictures of me. And, her and I are still in contact with each other. She's now retired, but I believe she did over her 20 years. But, yeah, so her and I are still in contact, and she's definitely still my inspiration with
That's cool.
continuing
that's
this
neat.
job. Yeah.
I know that we have officers that came from Bethel.
We do.
And I guarantee that you played a role. They may not have told you yet, but I bet that you did.
We do, and surprisingly, a couple have said, Officer Rhone, you were my SRO. I said, well, the fact that I do not remember you, you.
Right.
But I want to say maybe two or three that I know of for sure are here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
At least you didn't turn them off to the profession.
Correct.
Right? And at least you didn't say, oh, I remember you. We need to go see the chief about your career choices, right? Like maybe you don't belong here. Right. So that's good. Mm-hmm. That's really neat. What do you think is next for you, Karla, at HPD?
Oh, wow.
Settling in at 20, and you've been in the Bureau for a while, spent a while in the schools.
I want to say this is my fifth year. That feels about right. Four or five, somewhere around in there. But I enjoy what I do now. Mm-hmm. When I was in the schools, I said, I'm going to ride this out. Then I said, let me, venture out and do something else. I applied for the Bureau. I got that call from Lieutenant Olson. I was like, I don't know what this call is going to be.
Right.
But, he said, welcome. I said, Lord, thank you. So, we've pretty much dipped and dabbed in a little bit of everything down there, with the changes and, what cases you're assigned and things like that. But I accepted, doing white collar crimes. And I didn't know it was going to be as much work as it is.
Yes.
But I enjoy doing it.
It's so much. That was the first place they put me when I went to the Bureau.
Oh, first place?
Right? Your face says it all. That is how I felt about it. And I thought, first of all, I don't love math.
Okay.
I'm decently good at adding numbers together, mostly because there's a calculator that I can rely on. But the forensics aspect of like bank accounts and the movement of money from place to place was really challenging.
Yes.
It really was.
Yes.
It really, really was. But to be settled into how investigations at least work and then branch out to that seems like a really good progression.
That was helpful.
Yeah.
It still doesn't match.
Mm-hmm.
It's, financials is a slower pace, but I think it's a lot of work.
It's so much work.
It's a lot.
Because you're digging through paperwork and documents and tracing and tracking the movement of things or money from place to place and person to person often.
Yes.
And I found when I was there that I don't want to call them a criminal, but I suppose they're a criminal. The suspect in those cases versus crimes against people or more violent crimes are night and day different as well.
Yes.
Just the personality and the psychology behind the offenders in those types of crimes was completely different.
Like you said, the psychology is completely different.
Yeah.
And what are the things people know, like, on what to do to scam and to steal people's money. Like, how did you come up with that?
Right. They're brilliant.
I remember being a road officer during midnights, and we would get those fraudulent calls. People taking money from their checks. They would put the check in the USPS box. They wouldn't receive it back, and then they look a few days later, and then there's anywhere from 1,000 to more, U.S. currency
been
taken,
washed and written to someone else.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There was that time where I know that the keys were getting taken for the postal boxes, and that was everywhere from north of us to Carolina and south of us. It was a real big deal. And that was when folks were calling in, right?
I remember taking probably 3 to 4 reports a shift because of that. Yeah.
And that they don't necessarily target a certain demographic, like the older, seniors who maybe aren't as adept at internet things. But is it just a box with a check? And you don't know who it belongs to.
Correct.
That's really something. Wow. So what's next for you, Tony?
Well, I just started in this position in February of this year, so what I would say is what's next is continuing what I'm doing within the schools, building those positive relationships and creating, a safe haven and a safe learning environment for the students. I actually recently just created a program within my school. It's called She Leads, and it's for middle school girls from 6th grade to 8th grade, and it's a life skill and mentoring program. So we're going to be talking about what they see where they see themselves in 5 years from now, creating vision boards, teaching about self-esteem, conflict resolution, and then I'm going to see if I can get some help from New Horizons to see if they can come out and teach these girls how to change tires and check the oil. So cool. Valuable life skills for these girls that
That's amazing.
A lot of these kids sometimes don't get in their home life,
Sure.
But I thought it was important because I remember when I was going through school, we barely touch those topics,
Yeah.
So to have that, outlook for their future. So,
That's really amazing. She leads. I love that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
She leads.
That nests right into our Women's HPD podcast.
So we're starting
That's
next month.
fantastic.
So I just started sending out the welcome package, just waiting to get the permission slips and everything back now. So
That's
pretty cool.
amazing. And you'll lead it there at the school.
Yep.
So
And
she leads.
Yes, she leads, and I'm gonna try and have some female friends that I have who are like in the military and just like do different jobs as well. Come out and talk to the kids to show them like, look, it's not impossible to do what you want to do. Like,
Right.
you can do it as long as you put your mind to it.
Yeah. It was actually a female at HPD that got me interested in coming into the profession. It's not that I didn't know there were female police officers, but
Right.
to see a woman in a leadership role and with confidence in her profession and the ability to really do the job well is definitely what drew me to it. That's what drew you to it. What drew you into law enforcement? Uh-oh. It's a loaded question. I didn't know.
It's very loaded. I did not see me being a police officer in my cards.
Wow.
Absolutely did not. I didn't major in criminal justice. Nothing.
Here you are killing it.
Here I am. But I actually wanted to go into the military.
Okay.
I had an interview for the Air Force officer
Okay.
program, Marine Corps officer program. But at the time, I was still in school, in grad school, working on my thesis. I said, well, I can't, come this far in my master's program to, just drop everything and leave.
Right.
I said, well, let me finish, my thesis. But by the time I finished my thesis, I was in the academy. So I finished, like I said, I wanted to get into just working, period, And so I said, well, let me apply for the police department, see if I get in. Got in.
Of course you did.
I did not expect it.
Of course you did.
And I tell Chief all the time, thank you for selecting me. But so I got in and I said, well, let me do maybe 3-5 years and I'll try to go federal. And within that time, I got into the school resource officer unit, and then the rest is history.
That's right. I was going to do the same, federal, but you get sucked in.
Yes.
You do.
And then it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it certainly, is work, but it feels like a family, and it's harder to leave your family and the friends that you've made and the connections in the community to go do something different. You're like, I don't want to rebuild.
Yes.
Right.
Like, I don't want to have to go relearn a new organization and new people. And I know young folks leave professions certainly a
All
lot
the time.
faster than we all do. But I think there's a lot of peace, at least for me, in staying put and like really getting to know the people in the community and the people that work here. So I'm glad that you're both here.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you
We're
chose
glad I'm
HPD. And you are not from here, so
No, I'm not.
we're glad that you came down to Virginia and settled in here at HPD.
Baltimore County almost got me, but then you guys had the
Wow.
cadet program too, so
Oh, they have a cadet program. Very
yes, they
good.
do.
Well, for anyone interested, it's warmer here than it is in Baltimore. So we encourage you to come here.
It's less crazier here too than Baltimore.
It's definitely not as busy or hectic. One piece of advice for a female joining this profession, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, wow.
That's a good question.
Oh.
I would say probably sticking true to your character and knowing where you came from, and, you know, whatever backstory you have to your life, being able to be an advocate for those and helping and supporting them through whatever rough and hardships they have in their life at that current moment.
That's really beautiful. That's great. And you do that in the schools. I think that's really awesome. I would echo that, like being true to who you really are and not changing who you are as a person and your core for a profession or anybody else.
Exactly.
That's awesome. How about you? Anything different?
I would say just don't doubt yourself. You know, it's such a male-dominated field, you know, and some of what I have heard from young ladies is, you know, I don't know if I have the strength to do it, or, you know, it's always just too many men around. I said, girl, don't pay them no mind. You know, the academy, it wasn't bad, you know, for me, because I was an athlete, you know, so I did encourage some of the basketball players. I said, if you don't want to do, you know, police work, you know, maybe do military, because you're already fit. You can deal with the, you know, the orders and, you know, your skin is a little thicker, you know, but I would just say don't doubt yourself.
Yeah. We do question our abilities more than men. Studies have shown. That's not me making that up, but we do. I mean, women historically will only apply for a job if we meet 100% of the qualifications. Men historically will apply if they meet 50%. And so that goes to what you're saying, just having the confidence to in yourself to put your neck out there and take a chance, and you could be here 20 years later sitting on a couch in a podcast. And this will be you in what, 15 years? You've been here about 5, right?
As a cadet, 6. I started in 2019.
So you're getting there. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for being here today.
For having us.
I enjoy you taking time out of your day to be here and offer all that you have for the podcast.
Thank you.
The HPD Wonder Women. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for joining us for Unveiled, a podcast highlighting the extraordinary men and women of the Hampton Police Division. To learn more, check us out on our social media and at hampton.gov/police.